waiting on us." She clapped her paws, paws now as soft as white velvet, and a tablecloth floated into the room, then knives and forks and spoons and glasses. The table was laid, the dishes drifted in, and they began to eat. There happened to be every single thing Tavy liked best to eat. After supper there was music and singing, and Tavy, having kissed a white, soft, furry forehead, went to bed in a gold four-poster with a counterpane of butterflies' wings. He awoke at home. On the mantelpiece sat the White Cat, looking as though butter would not melt in her mouth, and all her furriness had gone with her voice. She was silent and china. Tavy spoke to her, but she would not answer, nor did she speak all day. Only at night, when he was getting into bed, she suddenly mewed, stretched, and said, "Make haste. There's a play acted to-night at my castle." Tavy made haste, and was rewarded by another glorious evening in the castle of the White Cat. And so the weeks went on, days full of an ordinary little boy's joys and sorrows, goodnesses and badnesses, nights spent by a little prince in the magic castle of the White Cat. Then came the day when Tavy's mother spoke to him, and he, very scared and serious, told the China Cat what she had said. "I knew this would happen," said the cat. "It always does. So you're to leave your house next week. Well, there's only one way out of the difficulty. Draw your sword, Tavy, and cut off my head and tail." "And then will you turn into a princess, and shall I have to marry you?" Tavy asked with horror. "No, dear, no," said the cat reassuringly. "I shan't turn into anything, but you and mother will turn into happy people. I shall just not be any more for you." "Then I won't do it," said Tavy. "But you must. Come, draw your sword like a brave fairy prince and cut off my head." The sword hung above his bed, with the helmet and breastplate Uncle James had given him last Christmas. "I'm not a fairy prince," said the child. "I'm Tavy, and I love you." "You love your mother better," said the cat. "Come, cut my head off. The story always ends like that. You love mother best. It's for her sake." "Yes," Tavy was trying to think it out. "Yes, I love mother best, but I love you. And I won't cut off your head, no, not even for mother." "Then," said the cat, "I must do what I can." She stood up, waving her white china tail, and before Tavy could stop her she had leapt, not as before into his arms, but on to the wide hearthstone. It was all over. The China Cat lay broken inside the high brass fender. The sound of the smash brought mother running. "What is it?" she cried. "Oh, Tavy, the China Cat!" "She would do it," sobbed Tavy. "She wanted me to cut off her head, and I wouldn't." "Don't talk nonsense, dear," said mother sadly. "That only makes it worse."
pick up the pieces." "There's only 2 pieces," said Tavy. "Couldn't you stick her together again?"
"Why?" said Mother, holding the pieces close to the candle. "She's been broken before, and mended."
"I knew that," said Tavy, still sobbing. "Oh, my dear White Cat! Oh, oh, oh!"
The last "oh" was a howl of anguish. "Come, crying won't mend her," said Mother. "Look, there's another piece of her close to the shovel." Tavy stooped.
"That's not a piece of cat,"
he said, and picked it up. It was a pale parchment label tied to a key. Mother held it to the candle and read: "Key of the lock behind the knot in the mantelpiece panel in the white parlour." "Tavy! I wonder but where did it come from?"
"Out of my White Cat, I suppose," said Tavy, his tears stopping.
"Are you going to see what's in the mantelpiece panel, Mother? Are you? Oh, do let me come and see too." "You don't deserve," Mother began, and ended, "Well, put your dressing gown on then." They went down the gallery past the pictures and the stuffed birds and tables with china on them, and downstairs on to the white parlour. But they could not see any knot in the mantelpiece panel, because it was all painted white. But Mother's fingers felt softly all over it, and found a round raised spot. It was a knot, sure enough. Then she scraped round it with her scissors till she loosened the knot, and poked it out with the scissors point. "I don't suppose there's any keyhole there really," she said. But there was. And what is more, the key fitted. The panel swung open, and inside was a little cupboard with 2 shelves. What was on the shelves? There were old laces and old embroideries, old jewellery and old silver. There was money, and there were dusty old papers that Tavy thought most uninteresting. But Mother did not think them uninteresting. She laughed and cried, or nearly cried, and said: "Oh, Tavy, this was why the China Cat was to be taken such care of." Then she told him how, 150 years before, the head of the house had gone out to fight for the Pretender, and had told his daughter to take the greatest care of the China Cat. "I will send you word of the reason by a sure hand," he said, for they parted on the open square where any spy might have overheard anything. And he had been killed by an ambush not 10 miles from home, and his daughter had never known. But she had kept the cat. "And now it has saved us," said Mother. "We can stay in the dear old house, and there are 2 other houses that will belong to us too, I think. And oh, Tavy, would you like some pound cake and ginger wine, dear?" Tavy did like, and had it. The China Cat was mended, but it was put in the glass-fronted corner cupboard in the drawing room, because it had saved the house. Now I dare say you'll think this is all nonsense and a made-up story. Not at all. If it were, how would you account for Tavy's finding, the very next night, fast asleep on his pillow, his own white cat, the furry friend that the China Cat used to turn into every evening, the dear hostess who had amused him so well in the White Cat's fairy palace? It was she, beyond a doubt, and that was why Tavy didn't mind a bit about the China Cat being taken from him and kept under glass. You may think that it was just any old stray white cat that had come in by accident. Tavy knows better.